Hello, and welcome to the Personal Website Workshop hosted by the Women in Cybersecurity UAH Student Chapter. Today we're going to be going over how to create your very own personal website for free using GitHub Pages. This requires no coding experience, no web development experience. We're going to go over everything you need to know. It is going to be aimed more towards the cybersecurity industry, but you can edit it to fit your industry if you'd like. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to send me an email, or if you're in our student chapter Discord, you can send me a DM on Discord, or you can leave a comment down below too. So the first thing we're going to need to get started is we're going to need to download a code editor. My recommendation is Visual Studio Code, and it's the one I'm going to be using today. You can download it at this link right here, and I'll also make sure to link it in the description box below. You can also use Atom or Notepad++, whichever one's your personal favorite. So if you're deciding to use Visual Studio, you'll go to that link and you'll just click on the installer that matches your operating system. And just click through the settings and you shouldn't have any problem getting it loaded. If you do have a problem, you can look up a tutorial video to help you. Next, we're going to create a free GitHub account. Just go to github.com and sign up as a new user. Unless you already have a GitHub, then you can sign into yours. One thing to note is that the GitHub username that you create is going to be the domain name for your website. So see how my username is Jessie Elkins? That's going to be my domain name, jessieelkins.github.io. So keep that in mind when you're creating your username. You want it to be either your name or just something presentable. Don't make it anything that's not relevant to you or your personal brand. Now, once you get your GitHub account created, just choose the free option. You don't have to choose any interests. You can kind of skip past all that stuff. And then you should get to this page right here. If you're not, you might have to go over to your profile. You can just click on your username right there. And you should get to this page. We're going to go to repositories. And we're going to create a new repository by clicking on this green bookmark button. Now our repository name, we're going to make it the same as our username. So my username is Jessie Elkins, so my repository name is going to be Jessie Elkins. This creates a special repository, and this is like our public profile repository. So this is where we're going to store our resume. So you can go ahead, make sure it matches your name. It should get this little pop-up that it's special repository. You can leave all these settings the same and hit create repository. Now, we can kind of ignore all of this really confusing stuff and just click right here, upload an existing file. Now, this is where you're going to want to upload your resume. But keep in mind that this is going to be on the internet. So make sure it doesn't have any information that you don't want out there, like your address, your phone number, a private email address, any type of secret work experience that you have that required a clearance that maybe shouldn't be on the public internet. So make sure this is a resume that you're okay with being on the internet. Once you have your resume how you would like it, you can choose your files and find your resume and click open. You should see it successfully upload right here, and then you have to commit your changes, which is basically like saving it. And you can add little little message right here that says added resume, and then hit the green commit changes button. You should see it pop up right here, added resume, and you should be able to see it. Now we'll come back to this in a minute. So right now we're going to move on to the next step, which is downloading the template. You'll go to this link right here, which is also in the description below, so you don't have to like try and type out this whole thing. You can just go click on it below. It should take you to this page right here, and on this top right you click download. And it might take a second because it is a zip file, but it should successfully download. Now, once it finished downloading, find it in your downloads folder, right click and hit extract all, and then extract. This will unzip the zip file. Inside, you should see the index.html and the assets folder. Now let's go over the file structure a little bit here. Index.html is the default page for a website. If you type in a web page like twitter.com and you don't specify anything after .com, it's going to go to the default web page. And it's usually named index.html. If your website has more pages like a contact page, an about us page, you would see more HTML files like an about us.html, contact.html. But our web page only has one page, so we only have one HTML file. The assets contain some of the things that help make the web page work and look nice, such as the CSS file. In here, this is where you're going to find the fonts, the color schemes, the spacing, any kind of aesthetic element on the web page is going to be handled in this CSS file. Next, you have the images. This is where we just store all the images that are used on the web page. This one only has 5 images. The vendors folder, you don't really have to worry about that for this one, but this is just some libraries that are used to help make the website look more modern. Now, we're going to go ahead and click on the index.html file, and we're going to open it with our web browser. This shows you what the web page is going to look like. And this is the template that we're going to be filling out. It starts off with a big introduction, a button to download your resume, some social links up at the top, a mission statement over here with another button to download your resume, some contact info, some of your current interests, a resume to show off your work experience, education, and skills, and a section for your projects where you can really demonstrate what you know and how you've used it. So let's go back to our folder, and now we're going to right click on the index.html file, but we're going to open with Visual Studio Code or whichever code editor you want to use. Now I'm going to increase the font size. I'll be right back. Okay, now that the font size is a little bit bigger, it should be easier to see. And we're going to go ahead and start editing the index.html file. Starting off, we're going to want to start on line 6 and just change this to your name. These are just some of the meta tags that kind of get used in the background. Next, we're going to change the title and change that to your name. It helps to have your resume kind of with you as you're doing this, because a lot of this information we're going to be pulling directly from our resumes. Next, we're going to edit that top line of social media icons. The one right here in the top. Now, this website is going to potentially be shown to employers. So if you have a social media account that isn't exactly something you'd want your boss to see, don't list it on here. Keep this kind of professional and anything you wouldn't mind your future employer seeing or knowing. So maybe you don't want them to see your Instagram. That's fine. But I do recommend having a LinkedIn, possibly your Twitter, and a GitHub. So say you don't want them to see the LinkedIn. Now these are kind of swapped right here. This should be LinkedIn. But say you don't want them to see your Instagram. So you don't really need that icon. If you find the one that says TI-Instagram, you can delete that whole line. And then Control S to save, or you can go up here to File and Save. Once you save the file, you should be able to refresh the web page and see the changes take place up here. Now we only have 3 icons. Or say you liked Instagram, or maybe you want to replace it with something else. These are all Themify icons, and I'll have that link down below too. But if you go to themify.me/themify-icons and scroll down all the way to brand icons, you can see some of the ones they have here, like Facebook, Reddit, Skype, Twitter, Pinterest, or you can even go up here and find some more basic ones like just a regular like comment or message one. If you want to use something like Signal, Messenger, or Telegram, something of that sort that you didn't see down below. So let's say you want to change one to Pinterest. Maybe you do front-end design and you have a lot of your design ideas there. Just find the one you want, copy the name of it, go back to your index.html file, find the one you want to replace, or if you want to add a whole new one, you can just copy a line and just add it below or whatever order you want, and just paste it right there. Okay. We're gonna have to go re-grab the icon. Copy. On class ti-GitHub, we're gonna replace that ti-Pinterest, and then we want it to go to pinterest.com. Or whatever your social media link is right there. Say your account is like /Jesse. Put your Pinterest link there. Save it. Go to our web page. Refresh. We can see we have Pinterest there. And it clicks to pinterest.com/Jesse, whoever that is. So you can change all of these to fit your specific social media accounts that you want to be on your personal web page. Again, if it's not suitable for employers, I don't recommend listing it. Next, we're going to change the big intro that you see on top of the header image. So right now it says, "Hello, I am Jessica Elkins, cybersecurity graduate student, /developer." Right here I just put 2 words that kind of fit with who I am and like what I want employers to know. So I'm passionate about cybersecurity and developing/programming. So that's what I put here. Maybe you're more into like penetration testing or network security. You can put those here. You can put your current job role or kind of the job role you're hoping to get too. And make sure you change your name on the header title to your name. Now right here for the button, this is the button that downloads your resume. You can see right here it says download resume. So we're going to go back to your GitHub profile. So remember where we uploaded your resume? If you can't find it, you can go back to your GitHub webpage, go to repositories, and it should be the one that you named as your profile name. Click on your resume. Make sure you upload it as .pdf because nobody wants to open a .docx. So download as PDF and copy this link at the top. And right here on line 28, where the button is, under the href equals, inside the quotation marks, paste the link. Paste. Now, we're going to change the link right here where it says /blob. We're going to change that to raw. Like that. Because that's how we're going to get the raw file for download. Otherwise, it's just going to take them to the web page where your resume is. But we want them to download it. So we want to change the blob to raw. Now, Control S to save and go back to the web page, refresh it, and we're going to try out the button and make sure it works. And if it works, you should see a download copy of your resume. Now, the next section that we need to edit is going to be right here on line 47, the avatar.jpg. So right now, it has a picture of my headshot. And you want to make sure, again, it's something professional that you don't mind everyone on the internet seeing. So what you're going to want to do is pick your picture. And once you have it picked out, make sure it's kind of cropped in a little bit on your face too. Otherwise, you may see it gets a little wonky and like ovally. That just means it needs to be cropped more. So zoom in a little bit and try and re-upload it. But once you have your picture, go back in to the Weesa's personal website template. Under Assets, Images, you're going to want to paste your picture in here. So this is my picture, the avatar.jpg. Paste your picture in here. You can delete this avatar one. Paste your picture in here. But say maybe it wasn't named avatar. Maybe it's like profile pic, right? And make sure you take note of the type. It needs to be a JPEG. But say you paste your picture in here, it's named profile pic. You're going to want to rename it to avatar. And if you rename it to avatar and it's a JPEG and you've gotten rid of my picture, you should be able to refresh the page and your picture will show up there. Next, we're going to edit this line, 49, to be your name. And then right here, you can either put the same things you put up at the top of the web page right here on line 27, or you can make some new ones. Again, these are just kind of like 2 adjectives to describe you and kind of what you're looking for in a job. And that's going to be this section right here. When we scroll down, the picture goes away and your name and then your 2 kind of adjectives there show up. And that's what that section is right there on line 49 and 50. Next, we're going to edit the about card. This starts on line 67, so you're going to want to change that to your name and whatever greeting you want to show up there. So I have, I'm Jessica, nice to meet you. And again, I have these same kind of 2 interest adjectives listed here. Mine are cybersecurity and programming. You can change yours to whatever yours are, like marketing, web design, graphic design, network security, penetration testing, whatever you're interested in. And then right here on line 70, I have kind of my mission statement. So right now, as you can see right here, mine says, I'm a programmer passionate about cybersecurity. I believe that software should be secure and functional to ensure a safer digital world for everyone, and that continuous learning is an essential element of that. So you can kind of put a sentence or 2 here about kind of who you are, what you want to do, what you're interested in, kind of just, you know, how usually you have a sentence or 2 at the top of your resume sometimes about what you're looking for, and you can put that here. And feel free to use mine if you feel like it resonates with you, or you can edit it to kind of fit your specific interest. So you can just put that right in between the paragraph tag right here, and it can go all in one line. It doesn't need quotes or anything. Next, we're going to edit the download resume button again. So this is this green button right here. And again, we're going to go to our GitHub page where we have our resume uploaded. And we're going to copy this link at the top. Then we're going to go on line 71. In the href equals, inside the quotation marks, the cursor gets a little weird on VS Code for some reason. We're going to paste that link. And it's going to say /blob. We're going to have to change that to raw so that we make sure we're downloading the raw file instead of just redirecting them to the web page. Now we're going to edit the personal info card. This is the middle section right here that kind of has all of your personal information, contact info, whatever you feel comfortable listing. I just have some examples here, such as expected graduation date, my email address, my phone number. A lot of people in Huntsville have security clearances, or the jobs require security clearances. So it might be good if you're a U.S. citizen and you are able to obtain a security clearance to kind of list that here. Or if you have one, maybe list just it currently holding one. I wouldn't list exactly what you have and who you have it through, because I don't really think that should be kind of on the internet. But I would check with your security office and see what they're comfortable with you sharing. And just kind of have a general location. I wouldn't really put your address there. I would just kind of keep it broad. Even maybe you can put where you're looking for a job instead of where you currently live. Maybe you're looking in a different city, or maybe, put your city there / open to work wherever. kind of open to remote positions. Kind of do what you think would be best there. And again, you can kind of leave off or change these social media icons as you wish, because maybe you don't need all those, or even if you don't want them there because they were already listed at the top, you don't have to put them there. Instead of your phone number, you could put your Signal Messenger username, your Telegram username. So I'm going to show you how to edit that stuff now. So if you want to edit your expected graduation date, you can do that right here. Mine was May 4th. Or if you already graduated, you can change this or delete this line entirely. Now your email, just add your email right here on top of where I have mine. If you're worried about maybe like a web crawler grabbing your email, you can kind of separate a little bit, doing like a something like that. Some people do this so that web crawlers don't grab their email and start spamming them with just junk emails. Same thing with your phone number. You can kind of either, I've seen people spell out their phone number sometimes, or if you don't feel comfortable listing it, don't list it. But some people spell it out like that. It's not required, and it also might confuse some people. But if you want to change the security clearance, just change it right there, or you can delete that row entirely. Same thing with location. And same as above with these social media icons. Change the links in the href equals inside the quotation marks. You can add your usernames here so that they go to your specific LinkedIn pages or your Twitter, Instagram, or if you don't need them, delete the line entirely. Or if you would like a different icon, you can go over to Themify, find the one you like, copy the name of it, and paste it in the class equals inside the quotation marks to replace the emblem. Once you've made some changes, you can hit Control S to save and go back to your web page, refresh, and you can see the changes. Okay, now we're going to edit the My Interests section over here on the right hand side. And here I just listed 3 different areas of like computer science, cybersecurity that I'm interested in. And you can list like jobs you're looking for, or just things that you're currently researching on your own, or things that you would like to know more about. So for mine, I have cloud security, and then I have a little sentence about like why I like it / why it's important. And I just kind of made all of these up, so you can use them if you want. And then here I just kind of, for the machine learning one, I made it like a little bit kind of funny, lighthearted, so you can kind of have fun with it and just put what you're actually interested in. Don't put something here that you really don't know anything about, or you really wouldn't want people to ask questions about in an interview. And then you can try and pick an icon that goes with the theme. So same thing over here, you can just look at the Themify icons and try and find one that matches what you're talking about. Even if there isn't one exactly, you can use like the file one, or the files, or the hard drive. They're kind of computer themed. Or even just a light bulb, something plain that will go with anything. There's a lot of different options here, and whichever one you like, you can just copy the name and scroll down over here under My Interests. Starts on page or on line 91. And this first one is right here, TI Cloud, TI Paint Bucket, and then TI Stats Up. So say you want to change the machine learning one to the light bulb. You're going to delete right there where it says TI stats up, leave the space and the icon -LG, because the icon -LG means that it's a large icon and we're going to want the large ones. Otherwise they'll show up really small. And here you can change under the header tag, you can change the title of the things you're interested in. So there I have cloud security on line 96, web development on line 104, and machine learning on line 112. And then under the paragraph, you can change the description. So let's go ahead and save this. Since we changed the icon of the machine learning to a light bulb. And if you come over to the web page and refresh, you'll see the little light bulb. So you can change it to whatever you want and just kind of keep it simple. Don't add too much, just 1 or 2 sentences. And now we're going to move on to the resume section. So here you're going to want to basically just copy over from your resume. Make sure again that you're comfortable with everybody on the internet seeing this information. So don't put anything, too personal, like I wouldn't put your student ID or any kind of like information that could be used against you. So for work experience, you're going to want to start with the most recent and go back. I would keep it relevant to the job you're searching for. You don't need to put something from high school unless it really is the only experience you have. Then I would put it and kind of show how it can relate to the job you're looking for, as far as like communication skills or just even having responsibilities and showing up on time. So here you'll put the job title that you held, the company that you had the job with, and if you want, you can put the location. Same thing with education. We're going to go most recent first, work our way backwards. You don't have to put your high school, but if that is the only education you have, I would put that here. Again, you don't have to list GPA or anything unless you really want to like show it off and you're proud of it. I would put that then. And I just put the acronyms for the schools. You can spell it out if you want, but most people will know what that means. And here I put relevant courses. You could also put honors or scholarships, something that you see fit. Skills, I have it set up into just skills or programming languages. I know some people might not know any programming languages. You can just get rid of that section. Or if you know maybe like some foreign languages, you could put that there too. And you can put any kind of software that you know, or kind of like concept, such as OSINT, Microsoft Suite. I even have some soft skills here, like communication. You could also like switch this up into soft skills and like technologies or something. I would kind of base it more on the job you're looking to apply for. So now I'll show you how to edit this information. So we're going to scroll down. It starts at line 121. You can see the comment says resume section. So the work experience starts right here on the card body div class on line 134. So you can see that this basically one whole job entry is going to be 3 lines long, and then it's going to have this HR tag, and that's the line in between this little line right here that you can kind of, this faint gray line. That's what the HR tag is doing. So if you need to add more jobs or less, you can just either delete the last one right here, delete the last 3 lines, leaving the div tag, Or if you need to add more, you're going to want to add an HR under this last one. So let's add some more room right here. So yeah, you're going to want to just copy the HR tag again, and then copy these whole 3 lines. And then if we save that, not Control Alt, if we save it and we go back to the web page, you'll see that it added another one right there. So you can add as many as you need to, or if you want to delete it, like I said, you'll just delete those 4 lines because we won't need the line at the bottom. So you can change the time frame right here. I just have it like 2017-present. You can put current, or you can put the year, month, however, like if you prefer to do May 2017 to present, you can edit all of that on this H6 line for each job. Then under it, you're going to edit where it says UX developer. That's going to be your job title. Fake company is going to be the company that you're working for. And then Huntsville, Alabama is going to be the location, if you want to include it. If you don't, you can just delete that. Then under class subtitle, where it has this Latin filler words, this is where you're going to put the job description, kind of like what you did. And I would put how it relates to the job that you're looking for. Keep it simple. Don't go into too many details. Leave the details for your resume, your actual paper resume. Just keep it short and sweet on the website. So for education starts at about line 157. And it's very similar to the job section. So same thing here. The date, you can edit that. And then here I have the degree, and then a little space, and the school. Under this relevant courses, this is kind of where you can change it to match if you want relevant courses, or if you want honors, or if you want GPA. You can just edit all of that and put it in this paragraph tag. If you need to add more, it's very similar to the job one. So again, the HR is going to be the gray line that separates each entry. So if you want to add another education or delete an education, you can just either delete these 4 lines or copy them and paste them below and edit the information. Again, keep it going from most recent all the way back. Then for skills, you can see each one is, the title is going to be here in this H6 tag. And then this is where you're going to edit the progress bar for each underneath it. So for Wireshark, its progress bar is going to be this tag right here. And you're going to notice that it says 97%. Over here, that means it's filled up with green up to 97%. So I would match this with how comfortable you feel with the technology or the skill that you're listing here. But even if you have 97%, that doesn't mean that like you know absolutely everything about Wireshark, okay? I would give yourself more credit for like the role. Say you're applying for an entry-level like cybersecurity engineer, and they want you to know Wireshark. Well, for entry-level Wireshark, I would say if you put 97%, that means you don't need somebody to train you in it. I wouldn't be assuming that you know everything, but that you can comfortably navigate Wireshark on your own without being told what to do. So I would definitely give yourself like the benefit of the doubt, because I know it can be hard. You feel like you don't really know that much, maybe, especially early in your career. But you probably know more than you think you do, especially for an entry-level position, if that's what you're looking for. And that's who this is geared more towards. So same thing for OSINT. If you want, you can obviously change this. And then over here, 85% for the width, you're going to change that to how comfortable you feel with that skill. And Microsoft Suite, you can edit that one there. Communication. And then I just had more skills, even more skills. So you can just fill that in with skills. I wouldn't go too crazy. Probably like keep it max 10 skills relevant to what you're looking for. Ones that you feel the most comfortable with, especially the ones that you have talking points prepared for an interview. If you need to add more, you can just copy from this div all the way to the H6. So just copy that, paste it below, Control S to save, and you can see it added another skill right there. Now we have 2 even more skills. Same thing if you need to delete one. Delete the div that matches the progress bar, and delete the header that describes the progress bar. So it should be 4 lines. Delete that, save it, refresh, and you'll see that it's gone. So for programming languages, if you want to change that to like soft skills or just foreign languages, you can do that. It's very similar to the one above. If you want to get rid of this whole div, the whole programming language, you just delete everything that matches this div. So you can put your cursor right here, follow the line down, and you're going to delete all that if you want to get rid of the programming languages one. But if you want to keep it, you can kind of work it in. I kind of like splitting it up. I think it makes it more readable, even if you just have like technologies up here, soft skills down here. I think it looks better kind of splitting it into specific categories. So now we're moving on to the project section. I think it's important to have a project section because in my time interviewing, every single company wants to see actual projects that you've done, and they want you to talk about them and kind of what you learned, and were they a team project? What did you accomplish? So I think having them displayed on your website is very important because it kind of shows them already that you're putting forward your work and you're proud of it and you're showing it off. So here I have 3 example projects. Again, you can add more, take away, but I think everybody should have at least 3 cool projects they've worked on at some point in their life. If you feel like you don't have one, I recommend just Googling and try to find something. Like say you want to use PyTorch because you're interested in machine learning. Maybe look up intro PyTorch projects and try and find one you can get some hands-on experience with, and that way you can upload it to GitHub or something and people will actually be able to see real hands-on work that you've done. So for this, I have a title. I would name it something like, again, if it's a neural network with PyTorch, you could name it that, like building classification neural networks with PyTorch. Kind of name it something that goes along with what it's about and it's not too long or obscure. So even just PowerPoint presentations you've done on a topic, papers you've written, anything that people can read and see your actual work. Of course, I think it's important to have a date here because usually people want to know how recent it was. You know, make sure it wasn't from like 10 years ago and you forgot what you did, basically. And make sure you have talking points for all of these. Don't put something on here that you wouldn't want to talk about in an interview. And for the description, I would just kind of keep it simple. Don't go into don't write a whole book here. Just maybe like a paragraph. What you did, what you used, why it was important, what you learned. And then tools used, or you can even do like topics. Just kind of add a few little tags here of like what area this is. Is it like network security? Is it programming? Is it Python? Is it marketing? Is it web development? Just go into kind of what tools you used, or even like did it help you build communication skills, team building, just any kind of important tag where people can learn your takeaways from your project. Then I recommend hosting it somewhere like GitHub. Right now it just links to the web page, but we'll change that here in a minute. So I recommend kind of just uploading it on GitHub. That way people can see it. They can check it out. It just looks better in my opinion. If you don't feel comfortable linking it, maybe like, I don't know, maybe pick a different project. But now I'm going to show you how to edit that. So each project has a picture. So I recommend either finding a picture that represents, like if you were doing PyTorch, maybe have a picture of PyTorch, like the PyTorch logo there, something eye-catching that like shows what your project was about. If you built a web page, maybe put a picture of the web page, a screenshot of your actual project if it's like a running software. If it's like a paper or presentation, you could maybe put your title slide of your presentation. But if it's like a paper or something you don't really have anything that could be used as a picture, I recommend just choosing a nice picture, like one of these that just is nice to look at and serves as a placeholder. So once you have your pictures picked out, you're just going to want to name them project1.jpg, and that's going to be this first project, and then project2.jpg is going to be the second project, and project3.jpg is going to be this third project. And once again, you're going to want to put them in the assets folder, in the images folder. And you can see I have project 1, 2, and 3.jpg right here. So you're going to want to delete those and put your project pictures in here. Unless you like the ones that are there now, you can totally keep those. But if you want something more relevant, you can replace them. Then on line 245, you're going to change example project 1 to the title of your project. Then here for the date, you're going to want to change the date to, you don't have to put like a specific date. You can put like April, like a relevant time frame if you don't really remember the exact date. But here I have 2 different paragraphs. If you want it all in one paragraph, no spacing, you can just like delete this top one and just replace this Latin with the project description. But sometimes I think if you're going to put a lot of like text in here, it looks better to split it up. Like you can see here, there's like the top paragraph right here and this bottom paragraph, I think it looks better to kind of split them up if you're going to be putting a lot versus like this giant chunk of text. Personal preference, do whatever you think looks best. And then right here inside the bold tags, tools used, you can change that to kind of like tags. If you're not going to use like specific tools, you can just, you know, do tags and then do like team building or, you know, whatever you learned from your project. I have check it out on GitHub because that's usually where you're going to post like your code or your any kind of project that you have. So say you have it on GitHub. Like say your resume is your project, right? Or even if you just want to upload something, you can just create a new repository. And say it was from CS 499. You can create the class name right there and create the repository. And then again right here, it's kind of hard to see, but you're going to upload an existing file. You don't have to do this confusing command line stuff. And then again, choose your files. And I'm just going to upload the resume again. But imagine this was like your final project. And then we're just going to commit changes. You can link to this repository. Just grab this link right here when you're in your class repository and go back to the code, and under where it says check it out on GitHub, right here where this hashtag is, you're going to replace it with the link. And so then it's going to link people to your GitHub. And then you can save it. And we'll try it out. Refresh the page. Now it takes people to your GitHub page. Now if you don't want it replacing the page that you're on, you see how it takes them away from your page and directs them to GitHub? You can change that by adding an underscore. Let me find it real quick. Yep, target underscore blank right here. So I have it in the social media links if you just want to copy it from there. So target equals quote underscore blank, and you're going to put that in the A tag if you don't want it taking them away from your website when you add your link to your projects. So we'll go back down to line 255, and inside the A tag, right before the href, we're going to add a space. We're going to paste target equals underscore blank. Then we're going to control S to save, refresh the page, and then now it opens a new tab instead of replacing the tab that you were in. That way people don't lose track of your web page. So same thing for project 2. Make sure the image is in the assets image folder and it's named project2.jpg. Change the title to the title of the project, change the date, and then here you can add the description on line 271. You can change the tools used. And right here again, you can change on 274. You can change the link by replacing the hashtag with the link to your project. Or if you don't have a link to it, you can just get rid of that whole A tag line. Same thing for project 3. Make sure it's in the assets image and the image is named project3.jpg. You can change the title, change the date, and change the description of the project by replacing this Latin filler. And same thing here on line 291. If you want to change the link, replace that hashtag with the link to your project. If you want it to open up in a new tab, make sure you add the target equals _ blank. Or if you don't want it at all, you can delete the line. And the last thing we need to change is the footer. So you can change that to your name. And then make sure you Control Save or Control S to save, or you can go up here to File and then Save. Then refresh to make sure everything looks correct. Make sure you read it over, proofread, no typos, nothing like that. And then now we're going to go back to the home folder, which is the Weesis personal website template folder, and under Assets, CSS, we're going to right click and open this main.css file, open with Visual Studio Code. So now we're going to edit the color scheme, because right now it's very green. And also, if you want to change this background header image, you can change it to kind of whatever you want. I would keep it simple, kind of like it is now. But if you want to change it to something, you can go to unsplash.com and you can search something like cyber, and you can come in here and find a picture that you like, and you can download it for free. And then it'll download it as a JPEG, which is nice. And say you want to make that your header background. You're just going to go to your downloads, find the one that it downloaded. You can copy it, go into the Weesis personal website template folder, Assets, Images, and you can paste it in here. And you'll want to delete this header, but I'm just going to move it to downloads because I'm gonna bring it back. But you're going to rename the one that you want to be your header, rename it to header, and hit enter. And then you'll see if we refresh, changed it to that blue image of the like motherboard cyber looking. So if you have a different picture you want, so say you want to do this background, and now we're going to change it to a blue theme. Go back into the main.css, and here we're going to do a Control F. Hit Control and F. And up in this top right, it should bring up this find. And we're going to type in hashtag 1E7E2A. That's the hex code for the green. And we're going to replace it by hitting this little right arrow next to the Control F box. You're going to replace it with the hex code that you want. So say we want to do this blue color right here. So we're going to replace it with hashtag 79 A9 F5. And then right here you're going to hit replace all. And then you can close the box. And then we're going to do Control S to save. And you can see now we have a blue theme. But we do have to change a few more spots to get rid of the green completely. But now everything is blue. So just make sure you remember kind of what color that we just changed everything to. So like now we changed it to the 7/9 A9 F5. So if we want to change this hover, like when you hover over a button, it's still dark green. We're going to change that down here on line 151, the A and the A hover. So see how the A is the blue color that we changed it to? And this A hover is still green. So usually what I do is I'll copy the blue color and then I'll paste it down here over the green. And then Visual Studio has this nice color picker, and I'll hover in the color picker and then I'll just drag it down to a little bit darker of a blue, or whichever color, just drag it down a little bit darker. Because when we hover over something, you're going to want it to be a little bit darker. Okay, we're also going to need to change line 2144, where it says button primary hover. Right here it's a dark green, so we're also going to want to paste that blue color. And same thing, go over the color picker and drag it down to a darker blue. And then we're going to do Control S to save. Go back to the web page, refresh, and you should see that it changed it to a darker blue, or darker, whichever color that you chose. I recommend doing something that matches the header color or even matches the background of your headshot photo. And keep it kind of consistent. You don't want it to kind of look like a rainbow or something crazy. So once you have everything edited that you like and it looks exactly how you want to upload it, we're gonna make sure again that we've saved everything. So there shouldn't be any, like when you edit something on VS Code, it adds a little white dot right there. There should not be any white dots right there. Like it should be the X. That's how you know that you've saved everything and you're ready to upload. So if you've saved everything and you've made all the edits, we're going to close out of Visual Studio and we can close our web page that we were viewing. And we're going to go back to github.com. Going to click on the top right and click on our profile again. And we should get to this page. We're going to click on repositories. We're going to create a new repository. And this one is going to be named your GitHub username. So mine is Jesse Elkins .github.io. Make sure it's named your username .github.io. Otherwise, it will not turn it into a web page. This is how GitHub knows that you're trying to make a GitHub page. It's because you named your repository this name, your username .github.io. You can add a description if you want, but you can leave everything else the same. And then just hit the green Create Repository button. once it creates it, we're going to go right here and upload an existing file. Now you can drag and drop here, and that's what we're going to do. So I recommend kind of splitting your screen and having your files on one side and the GitHub page on the other. So when you're inside we're going to click inside the Weesis personal website template, and you should see the index.html file that we just edited in the assets folder. You're going to want to highlight both of those and drag them over here to upload them. And you should see it starts uploading all of your files. It is a lot of files, so it might take a second. And once it's done, we're going to commit our changes, and we need to add a description. So we can just say adding files, and then hit the green commit changes button to save. Now you need to make sure you didn't upload the Weesis personal website folder. You uploaded the index.html and the assets folder. It should look like this because GitHub Pages needs to see the index.html first to know how to load your web page, since it's the default page. Now once everything uploaded correctly, this right here, jesseelkins.github.io, yours should be your GitHub username.github.io. That's going to be the URL to your web page. Now it does take it a minute for GitHub to load all your files, so it might take around 10 minutes. If you click on it, you go to this, I would copy, add a new tab, paste, and go to it. If you click on this and it's not loading anything, that means that you probably uploaded it incorrectly, but give it 5 or 10 minutes and you should see it. Ours loaded relatively fast, so that's good. So now, this is your web page. You can go to this on your phone, another computer, any computer, and you should be able to see the web page you just made. Now, if you want to change the URL, you can do that too. It's a little more complicated. You are going to have to pay if you want a .com or a .me. GitHub does have the GitHub Student Developer Pack that you can sign up for if you are a college student. You might be able to do it if you're a high school student, I'm not sure. But I know you can do it if you're a college student. You just have to upload a picture of your college student ID. And you do get 1 year for free of a domain name with the .me. So you can sign up for this and get a free Namecheap domain. If that's something that you'd want to know how to change it, I can make another video. Just let me know. Or you can email me and we can go over it kind of one-on-one. But yeah, you should have your brand new web page all hosted. If you do want to make any changes, you can just go back to the files and just open the one that you want to change. Say you want to change the index because you realized you made a mistake on there. You want to update some information. Just edit the information on here, save it, and go back to your GitHub repo. And you could go up here and you can either edit it in place too, which can be a little bit tricky because you don't know if there's like any compiling errors, but Usually I would just delete the file and you'd have to commit the changes, but then you can re-upload it in the correct spot. Like say you want to change a picture. You're going to have to go in here, delete a picture, and then make sure you upload it to the same folder. And then you should see the changes reflected. It might take a minute or two, but yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, again, you can send me an email, or you can leave a comment, or you can send me a message on Discord if you're in our Discord. Alright, thanks for watching.